From the studios of Tucson Business Radio X, recorded in the Stewart Title corporate offices on Broadway, you are now listening to The Mark Bishop Show. And now here's your host, Mark Bishop.
Well, every year, America Saves Week comes around this year, February 24th and 29th, and it's time for you to take the pledge. Just under half of Americans think that they're saving enough money, to achieve their financial goals. Oh, boy. We have April Schneider. She is the financial expert and the head of consumer and small business products for the Bank of America. Welcome, April.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
America Saves Week is in full swing, actually, and the Bank of America is encouraging people around the country to make a commitment to save at americasavesweek.org. That's where they can find a lot of information. That's right?
That's correct.
I think you've got a lot of tips, but 49% of Americans believe they're saving enough to achieve their financial goals. That's not enough, is it?
No. So Americans are really trying. They are saving, and they do recognize the importance of saving money. But the converse of that is over half no, they're not saving enough money to achieve their financial goals. And this is according to a recent study that we did at Bank of America. And about 80% of Americans say they are saving, but we're just really struggling to save successfully.
Well, listeners, whether you're just starting to save or hoping to build on existing financial habits, it really helps to get some inside tips. You may not have thought of a lot of these, and I know that April has some. And let's have a look with, how about Save with a Plan, April?
Sure. So it's important to save with a plan so that you could do a couple things. Number one is to prioritize your savings and then hit all the targets that you have around savings. And the other thing is saving, you want to be a deliberate saver, not an accidental saver. So saving with a plan will help that. And then the other thing that's really helpful is to discuss savings goals as a family. This is really important because learning healthy financial habits at a young age is critical. And Mark, I could give you a couple reasons why. Over half of Americans were never taught how to manage finances, and they had to figure it out on their own. And then 2/3 of people who are not taught money management skills at a young age are currently not saving money. So these are, the reasons why saving with a plan and discussing it and having goals and talking about these as a family is important. Starting out young helps throughout your life. But I don't want your listeners to be discouraged because now is a great time too. If you haven't started saving, don't be discouraged. Now is a great time as well.
Good time, yeah. We've got a lot to cover, but also for people who may be on their lonesome, you can go to the Bank of America's online financial education platform. It's very good. It's called Better Money Habits. Okay, and you can look that up, and it gives you all sorts of tips. And the most common savings goals for Americans, apparently, April, preparing for retirement is only 46%, who increased their savings to 46%. Saving for a vacation on your survey came out at 40%, and building an emergency fund was only 36%.
That's right. So those are the top goals. So still, 36% of people don't have an emergency fund. So, and 40% say they want to save for travel. So think about how different that is. And then 46% say I want to save for retirement. That's the other reason why having a plan is important. And by the way, talking to someone could help with all of this planning. So speak to your banker, make an appointment to speak with a Bank of America banker, because all of these are really different ways to save. So back to travel. I would save, and then I would spend that if I traveled. For retirement, there's a long-term horizon on saving for retirement, and a bunch of different life priorities are going to happen throughout that horizon in retirement. So really being deliberate around savings, having goals around it, is going to be very different just for those two goals right there.
Well, there's only 54% of Americans, in fact, think that they'll be able to save enough to retire someday. So if you're lucky enough to be younger now and you're listening to this, there's no better time to start because, believe me, it comes quick enough, doesn't it, April? I mean, it turns a corner.
It does.
Open a savings account.
You got it. And
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was saying opening a savings account, first thing you should do no matter what. You're getting a job, you get your first payment. Just get a habit, as you say. Get into a habit.
Get a new habit. So when you're first starting to save, open up a savings account. It's one of the most important actions you could take to take secure of your financial future. It allows you to earn interest. It keeps your money safe and it keeps it accessible. And then when you go to open an account, I would say ask a lot of curious questions. Are there account fees? What's the initial deposit requirement? And then today there is so much available in the financial industry. There's great apps, there's savings tools, there's automatic savings, there's spending and budgeting tools. There's so much available to help you save that you should be curious about what's out there and ask a lot of questions. It goes so much beyond just the account. I'd be very curious about what's out there and available to you.
Well, exactly. And, for example, the Bank of America's Keep the Change program, that automatically rounds up your debit card purchases to the nearest dollar amount. And I love the idea that it transfers the change from your checking account to your savings account. Hey, what do you want?
It does, and that's a great way to think about save when you spend. You're going to make some purchases anyway, so why not round it up and move some of your money from checking to savings? You're going to swipe your debit card. You're going to have recurring debit card payments. So if my purchase was $3.50, it get rounded up to $4. That 50 cents get moved to savings. And that is just going to keep accumulating into your savings account, and it's going to grow a lot over time. So think about every transaction you may make on a daily or weekly basis. It's really going to grow much more than you think it would.
So tell me about this What is America Saves Week. Where did it come from, April, and how do people get involved?
Sure. So America Saves Week is really a lot of energy. It's an annual celebration that we put a lot of emphasis in the week to reinforce the importance of savings. And Bank of America is a really big supporter of obviously savings, but America Saves Week in general as well. It promotes healthy savings behavior, encourages a commitment to savings, which is critical, and to setting savings goals, savings with a plan, and retirement, as you and I were talking earlier. So what America Saves Week is about is they have different themes throughout the week: save automatically, save with a plan, save for the unexpected. Every day there's a lot of energy around different topics. And the pledge is about working to save money, to reduce debt, and to build wealth over time. It's a really important promise to yourself. And savings is not just about a week, but the energy here brings it top of mind for so many people. And then the encouragement is to take it throughout the year and forever thereafter, because savings is a lifelong commitment, as you well know.
Yeah, that's it. It's not a one day, lay down there and everything's terrific and that's the end of it. It's an inbuilt thing that you've got to do. And you talk about these automatic savings tools. We never had them in the old days, as I say, but way back when. But what's the benefit, really, of using automatic savings tools?
So the benefit is, if I get back to the point of you have goals and you have a plan. So these allow you to save more consistently and with little effort. But as you do that, again, you can't be an accidental saver here, because I had to go plan to set up some automatic savings. Once I did it, it set up. And again, that example I gave is I could transfer money every week or from my paycheck. I set it. And then it's set up behind the scenes, and my savings account will just keep growing. As I get comfortable with that amount, I could go back and increase the amount or increase the frequency. So that's the beauty of it. And we also have other programs like Bank AmeriDeal. So this allows me to earn cash back on deals I choose. If I'm paying with a Bank of America debit or credit card, I get deals from restaurants and services and retail stores. That adds to the savings I'm having as well. So a lot of this, again, is deliberate. I set it up, but then I can increase it because, again, with my mobile app or online banking, I could watch some of the savings happening. I could get excited. I could feel motivated, and I could change these amounts over time.
Yeah. Well, we're speaking with April Schneider, and she's the head of consumer and small business products at the Bank of America. You touched on a very important fact about the automatic. I can remember, having been taught to save early on in life, you get your paycheck and, it was even cash in those days, but you'd run to the bank, you'd put your little $5 or $10 in, whatever. But April, something could happen on the way. And, I've always wanted that guitar. Boom, there it goes, right? Whereas automatic, I got no say in the matter. I set it up so I could be controlled a little bit.
That's right. So this gives you the discipline. This happens on that automatic basis and allows you to keep, your plan set. That it's important. So one of the tenets of the savings is set the plan and make it deliberate, not an accidental. So that's really important, and that's a great point that you made.
Well, you're head of consumer and small business. Your team that you run, responsible for delivering products and services for 66 million consumers and 3.5 million small business clients. So my attitude is that, for you to stay ahead of the game, you must be listening all around the block to be able to understand what consumers want and what business people want at the Bank of America.
You definitely have to. You have to understand, we look at the data, we understand what's going on across the industry, how consumers' behaviors are changing, what might enable them to save more. We're very concerned with understanding what is going to enable consumers to be able to save more. So we are trying to throw the ball and run with it and make sure that it's going to be easy to use, simple to use, not need a lot of instructions, for lack of a better term. So we definitely have our eye on that to help our customers out first and foremost.
Well, you've got a lot of small business banking solutions for them, but I don't want to forget the students. You've got a good one with bankofamerica.com/student banking. What is that site about?
So that side is about similar. So we offer free savings accounts for our students as well, because again, we feel like it's never too young to start to save. So we want to make sure that we enable our students to start early. We want them to have accounts that don't have fees on them. We want them to be introduced to banking, to mobile banking, to walk into our financial centers and have all the guidance that they need. So we are very much what we call a high tech and high touch model. So while students are they think that they're very digitally engaged, they also want a guidance. So they could walk into a financial center at any point in time, have one-on-one guidance with our client professionals, which is very important to us. And we found that they want that. The other, one of my favorite statistics is 62% of Gen Zers, which is those that are in college age now, they're less than 24 years old, said they wish they knew how to budget from an early age.
Yeah.
I would argue that's an early age as it is, but I wish I was Gen Z. They are just hungry for information, and they're getting it digitally, they're getting it physically, they're getting it one-on-one, and we are answering their call, their questions and answers, and any way that they want access to it. So student banking is very important to us, which includes financial education.
Well, there you go, guys. Some great advice. Excellent advice, in fact, from a lady that holds a bachelor's degree in economics and also a master's degree in economics from the University of South Carolina. But the bachelor's is from Hiram College, isn't it? Well done.
It is.
Yeah, good on you. So thanks for what you're doing. And people can go to the best sites. What would you recommend, April?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that question.
The best sites, the best online sites for people to go to for more info.
Well, I would send them to bankofamerica.com, of course, and to Better Money Habits, which Bank of America's free online financial education platform. You mentioned that early on. It's got a ton of information around savings and budgeting tips and even credit information. So there's a lot of information there that people could just dig as deep as they want.
Fabulous. Good stuff. All right. Well, thank you indeed, April Schneider, financial expert and the head of consumer and small business products, the Bank of America. Have a wonderful week, April.
Thank you, Mark.
Nice speaking with you. Goodbye now.